I'm so excited. It's not even funny. It's not even damn funny, people. If you're wondering what I'm excited about, let me do this. Let me do this. Bring this dude into the building.
Izo the return, Baba. Hola, 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 hola.
Guys, even the buzzer is like, my studio is so messed up. Even the buzzer is like behind me.
away.
I'll do it when everybody is on screen. There's no way, man.
You owe me.
The
You owe
queen
me.
is in the building. The queen is in the building. And of course, A to the B is in the
To the
building.
B to the U.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, my people.
There we go. Guys, welcome to it. It is the Slyso TV podcast, season 2, episode 21. And for the first time in a long while, the whole team is here. Guys, what's going on?
Happy New Year!
Happy
Compliment.
New
Happy,
Year.
happy.
Happy.
I mean,
Was that you?
we made it.
Yeah.
Until the 31st.
Oh, yeah. I remember receiving that memo.
Oh,
If you still say
We're still dodging the
Happy New Year.
hugs. We're still dodging the hugs down the
Kuthiwa
corridor.
i-cut off inini? Cut off the Happy New Year. When are we shutting it down?
Abu says it's the 31st.
I heard from someone that it's the next holiday. The same way Christmas ends on New Year's. They say New Year's ends on Valentine's Day. I think that's too far.
That's too far, man. To be hugging
I think that's
people.
too
Okay.
There are people who
feel
also want to
by the
forget.
time, so by the time nobody say New Year. It's already busy,
And there are people who want to forget the next holiday.
of course.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be reminding them.
Yeah.
Guys, have you been? Bills, let's start with you very quickly.
Hey, guys.
Yes, Unyana,
Yeah, you went AWOL.
The prodigal son is back.
hell?
Is back, guys. Guys, last year it was crazy. It was crazy, but lato bentendo yenza ndigqibile, guys. So
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yes.
With another degree in the bag. Hopefully,
up.
whatever I learned, will be beneficial to
Yes.
our listeners and the people who are watching at home. So yeah, let's hope whatever I was cooking, guys. Yeah.
Wow.
Went well.
Talk about setting the bar as far as education.
Right?
Hey, man.
Literally, okay.
Yeah,
Literally,
no.
we are not catching a breath here in this podcast.
The biggest for me is the motivation that it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, some things we just need to blame them on ADHD, honestly. Yeah,
Who
but
doesn't
this is
suffer from ADHD? I'm sure it's bang Thotho yedwa.
Yeah.
The rest of us. Eish.
Thotho.
The focus. Yeah. Undergrad was hard enough.
How am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
Because there's that pressure at the beginning of the year. Yeah, hey, you must go register. Hey, we must
Must
you
do
must, you
this.
must, yeah. Yeah.
Any New Year's resolutions, guys?
New Year's resolution.
Yeah, no, I don't do New Year resolutions. I mean, I definitely encourage people to be intentional. So for me, it's about setting intentions. What are you going to be intentional about in the year? I feel like it's more realistic. I got pressured, and it also just helps in terms of looking at what can you keep, because you don't always have to set new. And I've said this on one of my videos, that you don't have to set new goals every single year. Like you don't have to start over every single year. Some things require you to commit and just stay the course. So you also have to give yourself a break and say, okay, I'm just going to intentionally work on this thing that I've been working on and maybe make improvements. If it's
I like
improvement,
it.
stay consistent, improve on business operations, whatever it is. If you want to start a degree, that it's going to be 3 years or 4 years. So I think for me it's about being intentional in the life that you want to live.
Yeah, I can imagine for us people with ADHD, because we tend to do a lot of things at once, and sometimes we think we are moving forward, but instead we are just stuck in one place. And at the beginning of the year, what's also important is that like you feel that pressure that I need to do something,
Yeah.
instead of completing what you had already started. I
Yes,
think
true.
we are such people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
Yeah,
I
so
think
I like that.
it's a trap. It's like what do you call it? This instant reward loop that people get into. Quickly
Yeah.
set a goal, and then don't stick on it after 3 weeks, because now it's no longer nice anymore because it requires more than just you
sure.
saying I'm going to do this. It's going to require you
Mm,
showing up, and so. Yeah, I think it's very important when you're setting goals, you're not actually moving with trends. You are really
Yeah,
setting goals that matter to you.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
I think
brilliant.
also when you like to even say what you were saying too, something I did this year, which I haven't usually done, is just looking at the last year and think, what have I added and what have I incorporated? And then
Exactly.
just being like, okay, I've made improvements and I've made them sparse throughout the
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Let's
Mm,
keep
yeah,
those. And I'm
yeah,
sure
yes,
more will come up throughout the year, kind of thing.
yeah.
I
that's
like
Sure.
it.
that.
That's cool.
Damn, guys, that's a
Sometimes
good
you
thing
have
you
to
took
just
some
kind
time
of like
off.
sometimes I'll need the goals. You actually need to let go of some goals because sometimes this idea of
Yeah,
setting goals can also.
true,
Sometimes you need to look
Ooh.
at,
true.
maybe there's something that you need to take off your plate. It's not working out. It's not aligned with who you are and where you are going. Let it go. Instead of piling up 30 goals every single year, it
Yeah,
can also be a
Mm,
setup for failure. Yeah.
yeah. I was actually
yeah.
speaking to my business partner about that, Thotho. Saying to him, we have this thing that every beginning of the year we need to meet up and talk.
Yeah.
And I always say, Pinky and the Brain, we need to strategize how we're taking over the world, this year. And I was exactly saying that. It was like, we need to make money. It's like, you know what? If the money will come, let's
Yes.
just focus on something else. What is it that we want to achieve in business this year? And just leave the
Mm,
money aspect of it. It's just maybe refocusing your attention,
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying, and
Yeah.
letting, and just tweaking the goal, because yes, you want to make money, but, just tweak the goal. What is
Yeah.
the main purpose? How do you, yeah. I
Yeah.
like that, guys. I like that.
Yeah.
hey, I don't want to leave the make money part. I was just agreeing to be modest. I need money this year.
The money will come. The money
The
will
money will
come. Don't
come.
worry. The
That's what
money
I've
will come.
learned. If you
You've been
Yeah.
saying
focus
that
on
for
it,
a
you're missing
minute.
the big why. You miss the big why. And it's always about the big why. What
Yeah.
is your big
Yeah.
why? Because
Mm,
that's what will bring
Yeah.
you the money.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I hear you. Guys, getting
What's
into
happening?
what's been happening in the country and in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about Donald Trump, Mr. Orange.
Thank
But the only
God.
thing I can comment about, as far as that is concerned, it's very interesting how China is moving throughout all of this drama that is going on. There's no response that comes from it. We all know the whole Venezuela thing is just more than just, yes, to an extent it is about the oil, not about the president and all of that. It's been deciphered. And across stuff that I have been looking at, I think the one thing that has come out a lot, it is when appeals in the China for the past quarter of a century. They've been building themselves up economically and going into different countries, and to learn that, like, even the deal with Venezuela is part of what pissed Trump off, because it speaks to a bigger vision. BRICS, I was saying, we minus city slow and all of that, but people are working. China is redefining what it is to have relationships with other countries. So for me, as far as that one is concerned, I'm just glad that BRICS is really making moves. De-dollarization is real. The petrodollar, as time is coming to an end, yeah. So as far as that one is concerned, like, I'm not really bothered about everything else. He's being caught out on a lot of things.
Yeah. It's really been an interesting couple of months, man. I remember when this started, I think it was around April last year.
Mm.
And I've actually noted. I want to get back to what you're saying, Slyso, because I think it's also quite interesting for a communist government, and the communist ideals, and to see them where they are. It's almost like we
Mm.
want to take over, but that's not our mission. We don't want to take over, but the
You bring it
action
in
the
infrastructure.
action says something else. I really love what they're doing. But I think for me, what has been prevalent, especially in the business space, over the past couple of months, especially around this particular topic, I've
Mm.
seen how entrepreneurs have moved from panic and looking at everything that's going around, but to optimism. There's this optimism, and it speaks to that risk taking, and understanding that the entrepreneurship thrives in uncertainty, in chaos, and all of that. And I've
Mm.
actually seen quite some interesting collaborations, especially with the Chinese, around some nice tech, you know and one of them is okay, I can't talk about it, sorry, but some really interesting tech, because everyone is anticipating either some military action. People are talking about World War III and all of that. But I've seen how, especially the collaboration between the two countries has, especially around this topic, has been quite phenomenal. And I'm quite happy, and I wish I could take some of these guys and bring them to this platform so that they can share exactly what they're doing
You
around
you
this.
should do that, man, because
Yeah.
our imagination is running wild now. We are thinking Starlink. Obviously, I mean, like people have come out, against it, and we see
Hmm.
how Elon Musk has weaponized it in places like Iran,
Hmm.
where he made it available to the people that were protesting, but that was quickly foiled. And then Iran, I think, with the help of Russia, they shut that down. You must remember they were saying that like it can't be blocked or whatever, but it's been proven. Why are you going to go and make Starlink available in a country that is fighting the United States of America? He did the same thing in Venezuela. He's done the same thing in places like Syria and all of these places where the USA is invading countries for all of these reasons that they put out there. So the economic warfare is very interesting, and I hope that it doesn't end with us being killed by bombs. It's actually ideologies, ideas, and moving the human race forward. That was a by the by story, by the way, but trust me.
But you know what? As an entrepreneur, if you're not going to be a good entrepreneur if you're not a little crazy, you know.
Mm,
If
mm,
you're conventional, you're predictable, you're a run of a mill guy, you're probably not going to get it right. So people like Elon, who are just unpredictable, like what you're saying right now. You're trying to ally with this country, but then your entrepreneurial intentions show something else.
mm.
And yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't want to open.
Yeah, yeah, that one needs an episode on its own. We discuss Elon
Yeah.
and all his shenanigans, but it's gonna be very interesting. As I say, I hope it doesn't boil down to an actual war, guns and nuclear and all of that stuff. It's going to take smarts. And we've seen a lot of debunking of Donald Trump's ideologies and ideas and succession plans and all of that stuff. But it remains to be seen. And I'm certainly sure that we're not going to be here. I'm sure next episode we'll be talking about it. But moving right along, guys, I just want us to breeze through the stories that have been doing rounds. And one of them that we can't ignore, we ain't beefing nobody. We ain't beefing nobody. But this is the reality of things.
Boot.
Yeah, umbuto wabantu. Yeah, ANC January 8 celebrations exposed parties dwindling support. And this is what people have been saying. And this is a culmination from last year's elections. And it looks like it's not stopping. And to think that this was held in one of the richest provinces, you would think that there would be support, but the alarming lack of service delivery and all kinds of things to not filling up a stadium that takes 20,000 people when you are so close to other provinces, including, Gauteng, where you probably could have bussed people from Tembisa or wherever, and
Yeah.
people said, hey, nah. I don't know what
Yeah.
your take is about it.
Listen, I think, yeah, this is reflective of how people feel about the movement, right? And I think what I've seen also, what is also sad, I've seen influencers who were involved with the January 8th celebrations losing followership on social media because the
Mm,
followers are like, what? No, you're not going
Mm.
to do that, you know?
mm,
And it's actually quite reflective, really, of where we are and where we're going and what the new future that we need to prepare for. And maybe just tying it up a little bit, Slyso, with the issue of whether there's a war coming or what. I'm of the view that let the war come and let it finish so that we can, look forward to a new dawn. I think we are in a tethering stage worldwide, right? There's
mm,
a lot of
mm.
uncertainty, and it's even more prominent in our country where
Yeah.
the movement is. I mean, the GNU, do we really still have it? What's going on with that?
Yeah.
And what is the future? I believe that these things are part of the timeline. They must come and we so that we can move on.
Yeah.
There's always what do you call them? The people who get hurt. Uh, what do you call
Casualties?
casualties? Yes. There's always going to be casualties, right? But then
Yeah,
at the
trust
end of
that
the
English
day,
down there.
there's always going to be a new order. Thanks, Abu. Yeah, that's my views, guys. That's my view.
Yeah. Tato, I don't know if you have anything to around it.
You know what? I don't think I'm interested to even comment about this.
Right?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even consciously. I wasn't aware. There's something going on that's being celebrated because we're not in a celebratory mood. To be quite honest, in South Africa, we are on survival mode, and I think until we get out of survival mode and we get to a point where we're able to say we're thriving,
Yeah,
especially as a young people in South Africa, it's very difficult to be invested in, yeah, in political, I don't know.
Whatever they call it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just the four of us, minus the United Nations there. She will not comment on politics.
No, I just
Let her keep her job,
Yeah. No,
please.
we want you to be
Abu,
safe,
you and
Abu.
I can't be skating on thin ice. We need to.
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say is I don't even know if we'd make it through something like a war because I don't know if we're like prepared for something like that as a country. Like
Mm,
we're not militarized like that.
Yeah. Did you see
yeah.
the video, Abu, of the soldiers drill something?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Mm-hmm.
Next story, please.
Next.
Next story, please.
We are not safe. We are not
No,
safe.
it's sad.
Yeah.
Look at I think look the January 8th, and as someone was rightfully observing the way I was, it's not drumming up people to go and campaign for the upcoming elections. It was more about beating the hand of ANC members. So this infighting thing of like, we need to do away with this, we need to do away with that. And I think definitely brought in by was it the 6th or 8th of July 2024 with Mkwanazi, who really opened our eyes. And I think now the cat is out of the bag. and you can actually see the disconnect, and people are getting exposed, including Tatu Mandashe with that nonsense he spoke about. But we're not going to go there. It's going to take us the whole day to talk about that. But I think it is for us to probably like reach as South Africans and say, what is next? Yes, it's dwindling. Yes, it's out there. What is next for us? Is there anybody who can bring hope? In the GNU, what mixing and matching can be done to make sure that the best candidates to have today. One of our biggest stories, the Matric Results, how they foiled and handled the whole. People who actually cheated, the efficiency in bringing out the results, the inclusion of technology, the being thorough in terms of the stats. Even going on national radio, talking about like the technical report. This is what's happening. This is what we feel is missing. And that's somebody else, or somebody who comes from a different party. So that GNU is going to be here for quite some time. And I think maybe as South Africans, instead of like, some people crying over spilled milk of a party that made the bed that needs to lie in it, is not our place. And I think we are reflective of how South Africans feel. It's just for us to keep as positive as possible. Moving right along.
What a short stint. How many years has it been?
Anyway.
Anyway.
For
the party. It's been what, 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years. Is it a short stint?
It's quite short. Yeah. I really thought there would be, yeah. But anyway.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, Billy. Yes. Yes.
What, in order for them to get things right?
No. I thought they would be in power for quite long. When they came into power,
yeah.
I thought,
I get you.
Like they were never gonna leave, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought.
Jesus comes.
Yeah, it was.
30
years compared to
would have
centuries of colonization and apartheid, and In comparison,
I guess it's also hard because when you think about that back then, it's not really that parties stayed long. It's just that like white people would just change the name type of thing. So I guess maybe there's the idea in the back of people's minds that, oh, well, no parties lasted that long. And it's like, well, they did. They just had the same mindset.
Right.
True. But also, if you look at some of the so-called black parties, I'm going to call them that, now that, we're trying to make a comparison. Most of the ones that we have, very few of them originated as what they are. Most of them all come from Umbutu.
They evolved.
There's people who came from there. So I guess what you're saying, Abu, it's still happening, even with the parties that we have right now. And I think in the future, looking at everything, at the new parties that are coming now, we may have everyone having been part of the ANC in the new parties. It's possible.
Yeah, guys, as we move along, and this is just for you at home, right here at the bottom. Please, like umlandeli kweja, Slyso Lee. Thank you, my brother. You can join the conversation, whatever opinions you have. Please make sure that whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, just share your comments as well, because it's a South African conversation. This is what this podcast is about. It's not about us thumb sucking and thinking we've got all the answers. A very touching story for me. I just caught it as I was finalizing. It's not even on our script. It's the story of this lady who has been abused. I think she's 32 or 34. But I know the boyfriend is 24. I don't know, something that Toto you can just maybe talk to us about, like the anxiety that comes with the beginning of the year. You did not find, or you're still looking for your scholar for Umdana. You find trying to find a job. Iphelile all day, ha ha ha. Bekumnandi now. People need to be real. Abanye bebe kodukile now. They're coming back. There are all kinds of stuff, and I'm not saying that we should be sitting with cases like this. But do you think there's something that could contribute to people like being
I
intolerant of each
mean,
other or abusive to each other?
look, I mean, abuse is abuse. We know the pattern of abuse, and in this story, this woman has been in a relationship with this guy, and it's been on and off. The abuse has been going on for for quite some time. I also caught it just a bit on social media. But the typical abusive relationship, it gets worse. The longer you stay, it gets worse and worse. And I think with this woman also hoping that this man is going to change, and then she will make excuses to get back with him, and then things get worse. Because if you see this, the graphic pictures that she sent today, it's not the first time, and she's saying this is today. This is what,
Mm,
and so meaning it's happened before.
It's a cycle.
Um, but also the cycle of the system failing victims comes up again, where she's saying, I've reported, and because he's got more money, he's more influential in terms of his family background, Udadake will assist him to, get involved,
mm,
So I think again, it's just uh, gives us this hopeless future about will there be justice for victims of gender-based violence in this country when the justice system or the police are are working with whoever is influential or powerful, rich,
mm.
with more resources. Because tell me, why does she need to report 4 times about the same person and nothing is being
And
done?
nothing is being
And then
done.
it takes her going, because this is being desperate now. She goes onto social media because now she's probably scared, because now again the intensity of the abuse is saying, I'm not safe here. This could have led to a death of a person. I mean, those bruises are quite hectic.
Dude, that's
Um,
crazy. That's
yeah.
wild.
So for me, yeah, I mean, this we've seen this before. We know this, and I think we are tired of hashtags. We're tired of no to GBV. I think people know, men know, perpetrators know. But what we need is we need a government that is going to strengthen the laws and enforce those laws. So don't tell us about the constitution that's beautiful in South Africa, but you don't actually enforce, and it's not supporting the entire the
Yeah.
population.
Mm,
So
mm.
what is the police service going to do about this? Because we've heard about women go to report ikesi vele ingathathelwa ndawo because, oh no, we know this guy, oh,
Right?
suddenly it's not taken seriously. Oh, siyamazi utatakhe. Oh no, it can't be. No. Sizayithethela ecaleni, you understand?
Wow.
We can't.
Oh,
So for
okay.
me, this is just a call to say the government has got to make sure that the laws are enforced for everybody equally. Okay.
Mm.
Otherwise, I mean, we are what is that book about? Not being equal.
Animal
Yeah.
Farm.
And
Animal Farm. I'm
mm,
reminded of Animal Farm. That's what it feels like to be in South Africa. It's like, well, survival of the fittest, and fittest means how fat your pocket is. That's how it
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It almost feels sometimes like the frog in the pot theory that is used for a woman in abusive relationships is kind of just happened with society, where
Yeah.
it's like we've just been groomed in the ether to be like, oh well, I mean, I know him, so it's fine, like we'll whatever kind of thing. That
Mm.
frog in the pot where you boil the frog and it doesn't know that it's dying until it's dead type of thing.
Mm.
I feel like that's what's also just happening at like a government level as well, where
Yeah.
people, they don't take these cases seriously because they don't feel that the world is burning around them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I mean,
yeah,
it's like
crazy.
we're talking about the holiday. I mean, we know what December we splurge, spending money, and then January comes, reality kicks. Now suddenly
Hmm.
Siyaxabana because I need to get back to work, and you need to be doing this, and so that those conflicts arise now. There's heated, uncomfortable conversations that take place at this time of the year, because now suddenly we are looking at to what do I want to do now, and resources, and of course the person
Mm.
that has resources in the relationship holds the power. But I think we, again and again, we can never get tired of reminding women to say it's never a good idea to stay in an abusive relationship just a person because the
Not at
person has
all.
because the person
Yeah,
has resources. It's
true.
actually the worst thing that you can do for yourself. The longer you stay, the more intensified the abuse is, the harder it is, ironically, it is going to be for you to leave. So the earlier the better for you, because the longer you stay, somewhere somehow there's so many dynamics, that will keep you also stuck in that relationship. So when
Mm.
we say people must leave abusive relationships, it's not a cliche.
Awumonelwa mntazi.
Awumonelwa, it's okay
Uyayibona le
to
ndlavini.
move, you know.
Ish.
So I think women needs to also break this cycle. I mean, of course, we're not victim blaming, but we're saying women must recognize the minute you see the red flags as far as abuse is
Mm-hmm.
concerned, get out. Don't make
Mm.
excuses for a person, because
Mm-hmm.
you will stay. And luckily for this woman, she is still alive, but it could have been worse.
True.
And we
Yeah.
know that
Mm.
perpetrators are capable of unaliving you in South Africa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Moving along, guys. It looks like I just figured like let me prep all the stories that are gonna get our spirits down, and then like we just end off with some happy stuff. One other thing that has just been a bother for me is something that emanates from um, the South African National Defense Force soldiers attacked by Zimbabweans wanting to sneak into South Africa illegally. Now, these people, you'll remember, it was scores and scores of people leaving the country. And somebody
Yeah.
was asking, was saying at the beginning of January, oh, asylum seekers, when they were leaving, oh, they're going home for a holiday, they'll be back.
Yeah.
You seeking asylum. You have all of these excuses of for being in the country, but you're gonna take a holiday and go back to that country that you are running away from. You've been running away from. That's a very crazy thing, and I think part of taking South Africans seriously is not to ignore Abo Dudula. It is not to ignore South Africans that are complaining about the lack of opportunities for work and all of these other things, because they feel it firsthand. They
Yeah.
have to make way for people that are in the country illegally. And
Yeah.
someone was saying, if you were, I mean, like the minister of prisons, and I don't know what it's called, escapes my
Correct.
mind.
Correctional services.
Correctional
Correctional
services,
service.
yes. He was saying that like he's looking at actually deporting these people and have them to go serve
Yes, in
their
the country.
time in their countries. That's how
Yeah.
much we have people that are not supposed to be in the country that are in our correctional services, facilities,
Yeah.
which probably would be contributing to people not getting rehabilitated, because everybody knows a lot of people say when you go to jail you're basically going to learn how to better commit crime and such, like
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's a convolution of things. It's a lot of things. It's opportunities for South Africans. It is the porous borders. It is the
Yeah.
corruption that
Yeah.
is inherent with the. I remember there was one guy who was arrested for taking money, from people that were leaving the country and coming back illegally and stuff like that. And it's the last straw when you are going to intimidate. I'm going to play this video now. Intimidate the South African National Defense Force. You know,
Yeah.
this is
The
crazy.
level of entitlement, though, in some foreign nationals, and this is where I think the problem is people coining it as xenophobic, as if South Africans are dumb and they don't know how to critically think and engage when it comes to the foreign relationships that we need to have with with other African countries. Criminals are criminals, whether they are from Nigeria or Zimbabwe or South Africa. We can't be expected to now be tolerant and meek and accept that, oh,
Yeah.
this person is coming from this poor setup and therefore they must come and do as they please in South Africa. Of course we have to understand that South Africa is an international space that we recognize, that we are not just going to live by ourselves and but it must be, for my thing has always been, it must be done legally. People must come to the country legally, the same way
Yeah.
South Africans are expected to go in other countries legally. And when
Legally.
they do things that are inappropriate in other countries, they are, they are going to be dealt with, so I think, as you said, Slyso, the problem in South Africa is the corruption that also waters down, the enforcement of the same law
Yeah.
that is to hold people
Yeah.
accountable becomes a problem. Then it gives them this impression that they can then do whatever they want. I mean, how do you explain
Yeah.
and then it's also a question for me that I ask, that if South Africa is got issues like violence and there's high rates of unemployment, what are people coming to South Africa to do?
Yeah.
What does South Africa has to offer? Clearly, there is something that South Africa has to offer. So let's agree on that. And so
Yeah.
let's respect South Africa. Then let's be respectful. Let's come to the country, abide by the laws. Make sure that you actually come to contribute to the economy of the country. That's what we want. People that are
Okay.
coming to actually do businesses, they have skills. We're not talking about people that are going to come to the country and then claim
Open
that
up a
South Africans
salon.
are lazy when they're accepting the bare minimum as far as pay is concerned. Being exploited. Hospitality industry, for example, where foreign nationals are
Ooh.
being paid peanuts, and then there's going to be claims that South Africans are lazy, they don't want to. Let's not do those
Yeah.
gaslight type of conversations to South Africans. So I think, yeah, I think we again, going back to law enforcement, what do we do when it
Yeah.
comes to enforcing the laws, because we can't
Yeah.
punish everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there is a conversation that we are dancing around, right? And that we never have when we have these type of conversations. And for me, it's the issue, it's the culture around
Yeah.
this thing, right?
Mm.
Because we talk about law enforcement, we talk about government as if those are institutions or buildings, but those are people,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
Those are people who work
Mm.
at government. Those are people
Yes.
who work with the police. The
Yeah.
guy who's responsible for that porous border could be my
Yeah.
neighbor, right?
Yes.
And
What?
there's a conversation that we're not having around the culture in South Africa
Yeah.
around these issues. What is my contribution as Ubili to this
Yeah.
matter,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Do I my disc has expired? Is my first inclination to take out 50 rands to give to a
Police officer.
TMPD,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Or and for me, it's always, we always dance around this thing because the people
Yeah.
that do these things, it's us, it's nobody
Yes.
else. And we live in a community where we need to start be having those conversations, right?
Mm.
Let's start having those conversations around what it looks like to be a better person. And I think let's just start there in
Mm.
general, and
Mm.
what it looks like, because I always get baffled when people talk about government and we talk about, and it's as if we are removing ourselves
Yeah.
from who the government is,
Mm.
who the police is,
Mm.
who, but it's actually us who wake up in the morning and go work for government. So there is no government, we are the government.
And take bribes.
And take bribes
Holding
and
ourselves
yeah,
accountable.
and take bribes and perpetuate this culture, but then we then go back and and hide behind, you know.
Yeah.
We sometimes hire people that are undocumented to work in our
Yeah.
houses.
Right?
Like, when was the last time you
Yeah.
asked someone who comes to do your garden to show you papers? We don't do that, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
because there's a certain feeling that, okay, they at least honest or whatever, or it's just never even part of our minds. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be quite honest. I've got a helper who is amazing, from Lesotho.
Have you checked the papers?
I've never seen her papers.
Damn it. You're
You
part of
know,
the damn problem.
I am part of the problem,
but,
and
but sorry, Bills. You know what I like about that. I think I always go back to this thing. You can't heal what you don't reveal. So
Yeah.
we know what the problem is. We know that we are part of the problem. When we go to work, when we live next door to somebody who takes bribes from
Yeah.
the poorest borders, like when all of these things are happening.
sells
Oh no,
drugs.
talk to so and so who sells drugs because they are
Mm.
nice to us, because they treat us in a particular way. We need to, and I think for South Africans, it's the beginning of the year. We need to be that reflective to say that if I want a job, if I want to live in a better South Africa, I'm responsible. I need
Yeah.
to take that responsibility to say, like, we're not going to live with this person in our neighborhood. We know,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
It has my help. Yeah, I totally agree with you 100% there.
We need to have these conversations. I always said,
Yeah.
the conversation also around men. Men need to check each other,
Yeah.
Mm,
because the reality is that men love men, men respect men. And if
mm,
I, as a man, I'm not going to realize that privilege, I am failing the rest of the female population, or the women that
mm,
are out there, right? Because I know that, you hardly ever hear a guy saying, I look up to Thotho. You know,
right? It's
I
always
look up
another
to
guy.
Slyso. It's always another guy,
Hmm.
and it
Yeah.
starts with us realizing those privileges, right? That we
Mm,
have, and that's when we start having these conversations that can be life changing. You know. Also,
yeah.
when you are sitting with your neighbors, there's a lot of things that we do, guys, and we're part of the problem, really.
Yeah.
And
Enabling. We are
we
also enabling.
enable,
Yeah.
Mm,
whether
Because you
consciously or
always warn
unconsciously.
people to do things, or you
Yeah.
like as a protective measure, obviously knowing what the environment is like,
Yeah,
without realizing that you're also feeding into it, because
yeah,
you're saying be careful of this like amorphous thing, but it's not amorphous, it's people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you buy
mm,
stolen goods, and then it's only bad when your stuff is stolen, but
Yeah.
you buy other people's shit. Beep that.
all right. You broke into
I've
my
never done
house.
such.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
start.
I would never do it because I know how it is to have my stuff stolen.
Yep.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, there's just certain things that we do, whether
Yes.
consciously
Yeah.
or unconsciously, that
Mm,
and
contribute to
and,
this
and
culture.
sometimes we accept certain things, because it involves someone that I know. So then, okay, then I allow it. Yeah, I'm okay with
Yes.
it happening,
Yeah,
but actually we don't see that it's part of the bigger problem.
it
mm,
And
is.
they believe the culture, the culture
Yeah,
of
mm.
being accountable
yeah,
ourselves,
yeah,
and holding
yeah.
each
And
other accountable.
the culture of not hating something from far, but
Yeah,
hating it from within.
yeah,
Like,
Oh, yeah.
you are not going to call out Amapara and what, and still go buy something, whether it was
yeah,
stolen from a shop, even.
yes, yeah.
Mm,
Now you hate what they do from a distance, but then when it benefits you,
When it
it's
benefits
the
you,
opposite.
it's
it's
not
a
so
clap.
bad.
And
Yeah.
we can, at least all of us listening and watching today, can think of one thing that we can say, ish, this one, it contributes.
Oh,
And
this is
that's
gonna
where
get a lot of our followers back on Facebook.
yeah, and this is where the conversation starts. It starts with that thing. Yeah.
I
And maybe
like
that's the
that.
resolution for the
Yeah,
year, right?
That,
That
yeah,
reflection.
that was my, yeah, that was my point, Bills. Was if these people can, let me play this video, like, as we wrap up. If
yeah,
you have people that can toss insults at people who are guarding our borders, like our last line of defense, and be disrespectful to a soldier of another country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How much arrogance are you going to carry when you go and get papers for you to be in a country, for you to find space to run a business, for you to find a house and be neighborly with other people? South Africans, I don't even think it's being pacified. Um, 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 I don't even have a word for it, because we suffer at different levels, where you
Yeah.
find that, like, even neighborhoods, these guys are going to come and take up this block of flats. This
Yeah.
is where they live. This is where they know. It's a no-go area
Yeah.
in your country, because you are scared of what they will do to you. From the level of arrogance, from the level of saying we are going to be here whether you like it or not. And I think it's a proper resolution, for us as individuals, to call it out, at community level, society level, at country level, and actually tell the politicians off.
Yeah.
This is what we do not want. That is why I'm personally two minds. Not even two minds. I support a lot of the Dudula approach to things, right? If it wasn't for Dudula, we would not have known that medicines are getting stolen at the level at which they are. You know what I mean? There are certain things that have been exposed because South Africans are hurtful, and they're saying that we are going to tell you what is wrong. And then you find politicians and government leaders saying that no, we need to be diplomatic. You can't be diplomatic about somebody who's taking food from your table, who's taking your
Crime.
medicine,
Yeah.
That's my problem.
right?
Crime. How are we diplomatic with crimes?
With crime.
In some countries, I just don't understand. In some countries, like, you wouldn't dare.
I was about to say the same thing. Like, look at. I've got a colleague who was in Zimbabwe. It's not a colleague, it's a friend who was in Zimbabwe, and her colleague got sick, right?
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, and he says to me, it was no, nothing for free. You need to pay, and it was a public hospital, and you know,
Yeah.
and it was quite expensive, and it was this was that, like, they were made to feel that they are not
They're not
from
today.
and that's not the point. We don't want people to feel that way, but really there is no one who's running their country like the way we are running ours.
Yes.
Yeah. I think,
And
let me just play this. Yeah, sorry.
I think I get the guilt that we have, right? And we need to talk about these things, because we talk about where was exile. You know, back in the day, most of the people that are responsible for our freedom were in these countries, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we carry that guilt, but it's not going to solve the systemic issues that we have.
Yeah.
We need to, and we're not saying go back, go away. No, just be legal, do things.
Civil.
There's a certain way that we do things in this country, and just do them that way, and that's all we ask of. You know,
Yeah.
be documented. Come in, yeah.
Yeah. Let me just play that video. I think for people that are watching, before they think that, like, we are blabbing, like, this is the level of disrespect. And I think, as you were rightfully saying, Bills, it needs to be a resolution for each individual citizen to say that I am going to speak out. I am going to talk. I mean, like, we have the mayor here, who has closed brothels owned by Chinese people. There are legal Chinese people that are here legal, that are doing proper business, and there are those who are gonna come in and run brothels with foreigners. Like, so it's
Yeah.
Let's play
I
it.
think that the biz rap today is actually
This is not your side. Yes. Let's take them here.
Yeah. These these people want to come into the country.
Yeah.
They're swearing at at our soldiers. They want to come into the country illegally.
It's like, how
So
dare you
go
stop
so that
me?
we
Because
can.
I've been doing this all this time. I've been coming in and out. And now, what's wrong with
What's wrong with you?
you? Yes.
Nah, we calling on the law, bro.
Yeah.
We
I
calling
think I
on
was,
the law.
before you played the video, Stas, I was actually saying
Mm.
the Biz Rap today is inspired by this conversation. And you would remember that this conversation came up in at one of the dinners we had
Yeah, yeah.
around what is our government doing around, businesses owned by foreigners and all of that. And
Mm.
there was a whole conversation around whose responsibility is it? Is it the Ministry of Small Business or is it COCTA? But
Yeah.
we will get to that
Yeah.
once we get to the BizRap in
Yeah.
terms of what we as small business are doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's time for us to move on to the Momo. Because the part that we actually are going to be dealing with as something, as I said, I knew that like there would be a dampening of the mood as far as like the earlier stories are concerned and
Yeah.
concerns as well. But we deserve to end it off on a high and beautiful note and inspiring note. And I think there is this beautiful story that came out when we begin to talk about matric results. Like, is there anyone that we know that was doing grade 12 that we are related to, or we know, or friends of our kanye nebadala too much to have such?
Uh, strangely, I usually have a friend or two who has a kid in matric. This year, there's no kids in matric, and last year there were no kids in matric. But one of my friends and colleague was
Mm.
actually so anxious today when the IEB was announced.
Yeah.
I'm sure she still is anxious. I'm like, why are you hating on yourself like this? You don't know anyone doing matric, but she is so anxious about the
Oh,
results coming out. Yeah, but yeah, no one. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Yeah, guys, I think it's time for us to move on. We'll talk about this story like a bit later on. Yeah, and also just give AB a bit of a break as well as we get into the Momo. And we're talking matric results.
Matric results.
Let's get into it.
Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on yourself. It can also be a developmental crisis issue. Keep pushing and stay the course. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, bum,
I like that intro there. Don't give up on your dreams. Stay the course. It's so aligned to what we want to talk about. The class of 2025. Slyso, I think here what we want to emphasize and or want to focus on is there's two things that are going to happen. There is going to be good results, right? Where everyone is going to get what they wanted. That is, passing, because everyone wants to pass. Everyone wants to get that bachelor pass, or secure their place at university or wherever they're gonna be going next year. And there's going to be celebration, there's going to be excitement, beautiful and well deserved to the students that are going to actually reap really those results. It is something that you should be proud of. It is your hard work paying off, but also very important for you to remember. Matric is the end of high school, but it's not the end of your career. It's actually just the beginning of your career, right? So there's a long road ahead. It's very important that abazali are helping their kids to just take a moment and pause and really refocus on what is my next move now, where am I going, what am I going to do, and make sure that you don't pressure your child, don't put pressure on your child, allow them to come to their own decision. And we know that there's going to be a lot of anxiety that is going to be coming as well with going into this new journey, wherever that you're going to be going. So very important, celebrate your achievement. You worked really hard. You deserve, you deserve to actually just take a moment and be proud of yourself, but take time to look at the, journey ahead and make the right move. Okay. But we also know that sometimes you may have worked hard, but you don't get the results that you hope for. It does happen, because life is like that sometimes, and life is unpredictable, and life is unfair sometimes. Okay, I know that we always associate failure with someone who hasn't tried, someone who didn't do enough. Sometimes you may have done enough, you may have tried harder, but it was just not the right time. You just did not actually hit the right notes as far as what you needed to be focusing on. Maybe you really worked hard on some subjects, and others, you didn't focus on them, and so they are the reason why you're not getting the results that you hope for. So it's very, very important, again, for the matric that is going to get the results that is not what they'd hoped for, to really accept that, okay, things didn't go as planned. Okay, it's going to be painful, it's going to be sad, and it's okay to be sad. It's okay to say, look, I'm disappointed in myself. It's okay to accept, okay, the defeat in this moment, but to understand that it's not the end of the world. Okay, it's the end of a year. Okay, a bad year, bad ending for you, but it's not the end of your career. It's not the end of your life. You also, just the same way as the student that is going to be looking at the journey ahead, you need to also be refocusing and looking at, what is going to be my next move? Are you going to accept defeat, or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to try again? Are you going to say, you know what, maybe I need to change the course, maybe I need to change my attitude, maybe I need to refocus my energies a little bit better, so that I can try again. So very important to understand that sometimes you try the first time, you don't win the first time. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that your attempt was just not, okay, at this moment, good enough. So you gotta go harder. That is, maybe you go and rewrite your matric, and that is, improve the subjects that you did not do well in. Maybe you also change the course. Maybe you look at, what are the options if I didn't get a bachelor pass, maybe, because it could be that you did pass, but you just didn't get what you were hoping for. So maybe I just didn't hit the standard that I wanted to hit. Okay, so what is it that I can do possibly, with the results that I've gotten? Which direction possibly can I take? And there are many, many options other than going to university that are good enough. Very important for parents to understand. There are many, many options that are, not going to university, that are good enough, that will get your child to a successful, point one day. So again, don't discourage umdana because akayifumana nge-bachelor pass and therefore it's the end. It's not the end because you didn't get into university. You just need to empower yourself, get on your social media, get on your YouTube, search what are options for me if I didn't get the results that I want, and what are options for me if I did not actually make it at all, because there's always options. Okay. But I think more importantly, Slyso, we want to call on parents to be sensitive. There's already the grade 12 learner is under pressure, whether they're passing or whether they're not passing, there's already pressure, from themselves. So abazali need to, take the foot off the accelerator there in terms of expectations. Be careful how you are speaking to your child. Do not show your disappointment if umntana wakho akapasanga, don't make your child feel like a failure, like they are not good enough because of abapasanga grade 12. Make your child understand that it is just one attempt. So they need to learn that sometimes in life you have to attempt more than once, to get what you want. So it's also very important for family members to be sensitive, you know, and waiting for the cue, when your child is ready to engage as far as the results are concerned, and making sure that you are supporting, your child, and help your child to also figure out, what their next move is. Just because umdano fail grade 12 doesn't mean that the end of the moves. You can still make moves. You still have, a chance to, again, play, in this game that we call life. But what is important is that empower yourself with knowledge, empower yourself with information. Very, very important. Again, take the pause, breathe out, figure out, okay, what am I missing? What do I not know that I need to know so that I can make an informed decision, and then continue with my life. It's not the end of your, the end of your life. It's not the end of your dreams to fail
Yeah.
grade 12. So it's very, very important. And of course, it's not gonna be making sense as you are getting your results now. No one wants to hear it, but it's not the end of the world. You're just feeling horrible. That's why I'm saying it's okay for you to accept that, you know what, you are not okay. You are not going to be okay. But what is important is for you to know that it is not the end for you. Make your move, make your next move, and make that move very, very quickly. Don't stay down too long. Very important that you figure out what your next move is. See, already January, I know universities are going to be sending out their acceptance statuses to students. And again, those students who have passed will also have to deal with the disappointment of not getting into university as well. That's the reality that, again, parents need to prepare their kids for. Ukpass or grade 12 doesn't guarantee you a place at university, unfortunately, because, well, it's very competitive now because everyone wants to go to university. That's the thing. And universities can only take, so much, per year, per faculty, per degree or course. So it's also very important for, learners to understand that, if you're not accepted in a particular university, and maybe that was where you wanted to go, be open-minded, okay? And think about perhaps taking the option that you didn't necessarily think, you would take. It might just end up being the best experience of your life. So I guess what I'm saying is both good and bad results, they come with pros and cons, and very, very important, that you make sure that you make an informed decision about what your next move is going to be, regardless of your results. And that's the story that I'm speaking up to today. Bills, what can parents do to not put too much pressure on grade 12
On
learners?
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think, especially the kids that are doing matric now, there's this whole thing around education not being the only option towards success,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I hear it a lot amongst my nephews, and all of
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes now this is the time to have that conversation,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
especially leave the ones that need to go back and improve, but they're especially the ones that um, have passed, but will
Yeah.
probably not be placed, right?
Yes.
This is the
Yeah.
point where we cultivate that conversation, right? and
Yeah.
say, okay, if you were not going to study, what would you do? You
Yeah.
know, what skill can you learn? For
Yeah.
instance, there's a lot of things that they can learn. Coding is the new thing, you know,
Yes.
that everybody needs to learn. Even I want to learn coding. There's a lot of free courses online that, you know, you can make sure that whilst they at home trying to figure out whatever it is that they want to do, at least they are not discouraged, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised what that might lead to, because it
Yeah.
might actually shift them towards a completely different direction that does not involve school even.
Yes.
I don't believe this is coming out of my mouth, because I always fight anyone who says anything
Yeah.
about going to school. But I think it's time to also have learn a new language,
Yeah.
download an app. You never
Yeah.
know, you know. You might have to go and do interpreting somewhere and whatnot, something that does not really require you to go and
Yeah.
study 5 years, you know,
Yeah.
something you
Yeah.
can monetize now. Learn
Yeah.
even just, I always say, I'm always going to talk from entrepreneurship perspective.
Yeah.
There is nothing that will ever lose novelty as learning how to buy and sell,
Yeah.
Mm.
because
Mm.
that is the basic of any business, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to learn how to sell,
Yeah.
and even starting with sweets, understanding the cycles. That okay,
Yeah.
when I get to two sweets now, I need to run to the, you know, those type of things, just to keep going and keep going, and
Yeah.
you might have redirected yourself completely, or your
Yeah.
child even as a parent,
Mm.
by the time, you know, we get to June this year.
Yeah.
That matric failure or not getting into university might not even be a big thing, because the
Yeah.
world is changing. The world is changing. I was
Yeah.
looking at how
Yeah.
AI, for example, has made my life easy. I'm working on commercializing some work, and how rapid we've been able to do research that complements what we've done, you know, last year. it,
Yeah.
it is it is amazing, you know, those skills, just learning how AI works, how can you train a machine learning. You don't need to have any technical background for those things.
Yeah.
There's courses for starters, and you can keep your child busy, you know,
Yeah.
and you just never know, there might just be a tech guru who's never gone to university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elon?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
guess also believe the other idea, especially black parents don't want to hear about the gap year. You know, like
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
mean? No, awuzuhlala
Uzawuhlala
endlini.
uthini?
I'm that parent.
Wenzeni? Uzawuklina ke apha Thotho.
And it's
Uzawuklina.
it's
Ndifuna
very
ubuyeka uklina
anxiety.
apha.
Mna andifuna ukuklina indlu
Yeah.
yam xa ungenanto kwenza. Figure out something to do. Awuzuklina.
So I
Ayiklinisi.
think I think I think I think I'm trying to piggyback on what you're saying, Billy. It's not the idea of a gap year that is scaring parents, but it's the idea of you doing nothing, sitting at home
Nothing.
doing
Yes, that's
nothing.
Yeah.
scary.
That's what
That's
parents
scary.
are against, and I think young people need to understand what you're saying, Billy. Is that okay? So our young at university, but there are things that you can learn in
To
the
learn.
time. You know,
In the
um,
time.
yes, learn a skill, go out
Yeah.
there, be involved in community work, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Figure out, how things are working in
Yeah.
your community. There's so many ways as a young person that you can actually empower yourself, empower others, and find opportunities by just be open to learning, be curious, get
Yeah.
out there. So even if our younger university,
Yeah.
there's something for you to do. Even if our Basanga or grade 12, there is still something for you to do.
To
You
do.
just have to get off that TikTok dancing challenge and just find, okay.
Yeah.
I
Unless
mean,
unless if
even
it's
going
making you
back to
money.
like the AI part, where
Yes,
like you if looking for options to be like,
yes,
hey, so I have a
yes.
matric. It's
Speak to
it's
What?
the
it's
AI.
shaky. What can I do? What are my options? This is what I'm good at. This is what I like. Like
Yeah,
even looking to like a chat GPT or a Gemini or whatever it is to give some kind of options. And then when it gives you a list, then you can look into them. I mean,
Yeah.
guys, Wi-Fi is everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
this advice also like works, not my advice, but the advice that we were given by Billy, like works for people who have degrees, because some of us are walking out of university with a degree and no work.
No work.
Like unemployment is still what it is, you know what I
No
mean?
work.
So people are walking even out with degrees and they don't have a plan, or they don't have anything. And there are options that maybe that you've presented, things like learning a new language, things like, selling, entrepreneurship. There's so many options that even people with degrees are struggling with. So parents also have to be cognizant of that when they're engaging with their 18-year-old who, they think their life is over,
Yeah. Yeah.
Abu, on that, just sorry, Slice. Just an interesting stat. Every year we have 1,000 doctors that don't get placed.
Yes.
Medical doctors. So we're not
Yes.
just talking about any degree, even
No.
people. And we're working on a project now with the South African Medical Association in terms of how we can remedy that. You know, how to can accelerate them into business and all of that. Interesting work. But it's important, and I want to support what you're saying, that parents know those dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, they know that the fact that the child did not get into university is not the end of the world. There is university graduates out there with PhDs, medical qualifications, who are sitting at home.
Yeah.
Go tell that to Mkwat. Go tell that to Tatu Kwete. But
We have to. I mean, Slyso, we have to sensitize Umdano University that a degree itself doesn't get you a job. You know, you make the degree work for you. I think sometimes young people go to university to literally, blindly just get a particular degree, but don't learn the skills that is required to understand how do I monetize, how do I make this degree work for me without being dependent, like Ubili is saying. I guess we are talking about now as a professional, how do you, pivot into entrepreneurship and not be dependent on waiting for a government post, or some organization to employ you, because I mean, reality is that, people are sitting at home and not employed. But it's not that sometimes the degree is useless. It's just that you don't know how to use your degree
Yep.
to work
Yeah.
for you. So we also need to empower young people to say, hey, really, really learn to understand, the field that you go into, and how do you then make moves within the space that you've already what do you call it? You've invested time and energy in. You don't always have to go and start another degree. Sometimes it's just a matter of being able to be agile,
Yes.
be flexible, in terms of your thinking. Don't be so traditionalist. And I think one of the things that also is hitting the doctors is because they're still thinking about being a doctor in the same way that, oh, Uncle Beto, no, Makulu, we're thinking about. Yeah,
True.
then
And that's
so I guess we are trying to say now, how do we empower young people to understand that they always constantly have to reinvent themselves with or without an education.
And I think just on that, when I Thotho, it's not even the point I was trying to make, but I'm just picking it up from what you're saying. It's like that group of doctors that do not have placement, that do not have employment. If you were, because there's something very, very, very important in entrepreneurship. I think we keep touching on it a lot. Partnerships.
Yeah.
We cannot do things on our own. Like if you come out, if you are a collective and you say in the banner, like, Tanzania and Awenetile, akukho sejari, and there's quite a need. People, funeke bekhwele, we can put it a highway, and now we can go to government and say that we are not looking for a job as a doctor. We are looking for an opportunity as entrepreneurs who are trained in medicine. That approach is very important. And I think it doesn't matter what you do. The partnerships are very important. Like I'm just making an example about doctors. You could be a group of engineers. You could be a group of HR, students,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who say that, like, aban bethu bayasokola from this thing ebithethwa ngutata uGwede. How about, I've got a computer, I've got a printer. Those things become important. And I think, like, as we were saying earlier on, when you are in that phase, then money is not going to be the first thing that you are
Focus.
looking
Yeah.
at.
Yes. Yes.
It is getting this structure. As an entrepreneur, how do you start a business? You get
Mm.
this on your phone.
Yeah.
You can ask AI to give you an entire document on, like, how to start the medicine partnership,
Yeah.
and all of these things. They become important. And a point ebisenziwa ngoLandika ngo-Abo around the kids as well, and the relationship nabazali, and that whole thing of, like, ndizawuhlala ndingenzi into, and all of these things. I think as parents, it's our responsibility as well. It's said that the world over, that we need to get involved in education yabantwana bethu. We need to keep asking them questions. We need to ubuka wayijonga into ethile, yiza khawuzohlala. Let's look into how you can approach you taking a gap here.
Yeah.
Okay, xa
Yeah.
uhlela apha endlini, how are you
What
going
is
to
it?
contribute? What is it that you're going to contribute? And you are basically getting answers from this child to hear what they have in their heads, as far as creativity is concerned. But you are also giving them the confidence to share with you their idea, so that if when I'm as umzali uyayiva ingathi yenza sense, oh mntanam hlala, by all means, you guys are going to be here, you guys are going to be taking care of abantwana be area you know what I mean. If you have a degree in education, and is all of these things, so these things become important. Like, it's not just a single person's or the student or the graduate's responsibility, or the person that's taking a gap year's responsibility. We need to chip in as well. How are you
Yep.
feeling? What do you think? So those
Yep.
things become important. And just to end off, I've just picked up for those parents that are like, andimazi umntana wam uzakwenzani, abapasanga benchilo, that you can send us your, if you know umntana who has passed, please, so that we can put them on socials. There's this thing I just came across now, like it was on an earlier interview I'd listened to, the second chance matric program, which is what is available for those students who did not make it. And there's another one, or from last year and stuff. You can still get on it. They say that the second chance matric program is a free South African government initiative by the Department of Basic Education, to help learners who did not meet their national senior certificate requirements or wish to improve their marks by rewriting matric exams. It offers support through face-to-face classes, TV and radio broadcasts, digital resources, and printed materials that could be sent to you. Because I'd like to believe every child has an email address by the time they get to matric, so you will have access to this. And they say that the registration is done online via e-service. Oh, here it is, eservices.gov.za, or at education district offices, with specific sessions for supplementary exams, which take place in March. And obviously, progressed learners, which is like in June, and part-time candidates, which is like November. So there is this opportunity that if you did not make it, this year, that you can get into. It's there. It's been provided by government. Take advantage of it. The second chance matric program. It's eservices.gov.za, or you can go to an education district office that's nearest to you, and you will receive material. And obviously, they will put you on a program for specifically what you want. If it's a rewrite, if it's a sub or whatever. Just don't sit and do nothing.
Yeah, so I think it's really, to close it off, is that both these learners have options, right? Whether you did, get the results that you wanted, you still have to make certain choices as far as your journey is concerned, career-wise. If you did not make it, Slyso said, you still have a choice to make. Are you going to sit at home, feel sorry for yourself, or are you going to try again and take advantage of the opportunities that are available? And then I think also I want to just encourage parents also to get professional advice as far as your child going forward. It's always also very important to get your child ready for the next step as far as going to university or going back. So sometimes get someone else who is not very close to the situation, who's not going to be emotionally attached, to really bring about your child out of the funk, and just help them to think things through. So
Yeah,
professional advice is always available.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
great
yeah.
advice.
And I think what's also important, I think universities right now, if you have not received an invite, to come through to process your application and get your registration,
Yes.
please, I think to young people, do not stress your parents
No.
because you want to go back and be, with your peers, ubuthe uzaye usu, so usuka ngapha emqanduli, and you are busy telling your parents, no, I need to go there, and into kubana your stuff is not through yet, because you're going to be wasting money, because you're going to be struggling for a place to stay, you're going to be struggling for all of these things. So make sure that like all of these things are in order. You've actually received communication from your institution of higher learning to come, because I think I've even learned, I think there are improvements, so many improvements, because with NSFAS as well, the processing, the registration, everything has just moved smoothly. I have to
Yeah.
take my hat off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are obviously these things of now paying directly to the landlord and blah 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 and all of that to try and curb corruption and all of these things. They are trying. They got a kick in the butt, and they really are trying to support you as a young person who is looking for education. I think that is it.
Yes, and no university is going to ask you to pay for you to just show up. Like you need to be careful. There are processes that are legit for university payments and fees. I call university that's going to ask you for 100,000 upfront now.
Yeah.
Please.
Just one last one, actually, on that, Toto. If you're going to any college, right, and you're not sure it's a new college or what, please double check if they are registered with the
Oh
Department of Higher
yes.
Oh,
Education. There is a lot of colleges that mushroom around
bogus.
this time of the year, and they're bogus, most of them,
Yeah.
right? Please just double check whatever, because college, I mean, what do they call TVET colleges,
TVET
TVET
college.
college.
and all these other colleges, they also a great substitute to universities. So don't look down on those as well. But do make sure that you verify they're not bogus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we are in an industrial country, which is part of a conversation I think we had. I have all of these conversations with people, that our country is industrial. Like,
Yeah.
we need people with skills. We need artisans. We need people that actually can do the work to build the country. Not
Yes.
necessarily how we can only get so many HR people. We can
Yeah.
only get so many doctors. They are struggling already. So these TVET colleges offer you accelerated
Yeah.
practical
Yeah.
skills and
Yeah.
qualifications that you actually can go out and look for a job.
Yeah.
Even there, you can get your your N6, and then from there you start with the group that you pass with and say, guys, what can we do? Let's start a plumbing company,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
fix up your car. See, like, these little things. Think outside the box, guys. Anyway, we're just spending so much time. I said an
Yeah.
hour and I knew we were gonna go over, but it's all worth it. It's all for a good one. And I wanted to bring this up as a very dope story, that we have kids, and for me it says, what excuse do you have, what is
Yeah.
your excuse You have all your limbs, you are fully functional and all of these things. And there's against all odds this learner with muscular dystrophy. I think am I pronouncing it correctly, AB?
Yes, muscular dystrophy.
Utakunda Machueni, who is among South Africa's top matric achievers. And I just brought this story up to say that, like, in celebrating the class of 2025, you guys have had people that had no opportunities or figured they had no chance, but like they actually made something out of their situations. And I think we really don't have any excuse as far as that is concerned. And lastly, on education, we talk so much about it. I think we're gonna just zoom past bills so that we can have a little bit of entertainment with the movie review, and then like actually just get into just to finish off and get to the biz pod after the movie review, just for us to have a little bit of light moment. I think this is another interesting one. Competition Commission said to get tough on school uniform and stationery prices. Apparently, although we do not hear about it all the time, the Competition Commission is working on making school uniform and stationery prices more affordable.
Okay.
Yeah. So people have been like, yeah, you can only get it Kwandonto and those. No, we're driving past Notumza, King Williamstown. It's Sky uniform. Sky uniform is still there.
Wow.
Right? This is where you get, and those people end up in inflating the uniform prices. And to think, I remember I was talking to my auntie saying that ukhona umama owanikwa igunya lento kubana makenze ilento, what do you call it, uniform yabantwana, from how good she is, no, lantika ngomachini wakhe. So principal lobo zenziwe ngubani, kwathiwa hayi ngumama ubani bani, kwathiwa mbize ezapha, kwathiwa yabona ke abantwana bam, kuthiwa yintoni kanene le nto kwi-assembly, kwathiwa xa nidinga i-uniform nanku khona uzawunenzela. So there are those entrepreneurs, there are those people who've studied this, I don't know what you call it, seamstress or whatever. You know what I mean? This is your opportunity, and I think it's a very good one. Coming from Ilendo, the Competition Commission, to say that, guys, come on now, come on. I mean, it's stationary. You can only get it in Daonetile. It's at inflated prices. Even when you get it there, they say that the Competition Commission has been working with the Department of Basic Education, schools and suppliers for 5 years to ensure that everyone is aware of the Commission's guidelines for school uniform and learning materials. They say that so far the Commission has not prosecuted anyone for not sticking to the guidelines, although it has reached settlements with various schools and large school uniform suppliers following its 2017 investigation. So there was an investigation that was undertaken, and it was found out that parents have to buy school uniform at inflated prices and all of that. And they say that this is something that they're going to be curbing going forth. So I think it's just one of those good stories that come out. And I think now it's time for us. AB.
Not your movie
review. Are you in the building? Trying to sort out
that. I was muted. I was like, I started chatting with you guys.
Oh, wow. And here am I panicking.
No, it was me, 100%. Don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Hi, everybody. Well, I've greeted most. I wasn't in the waiting room like last time. So the movie this week, we're doing the new Knives Out movie called Wake Up Dead Man, which is a very cool version of the movie. I don't know if you've seen Knives Out on Netflix, but it's Ryan Johnson and Daniel Craig. They kind of came together and they were like, we're going to do mystery movies. And the first one was kind of this like overnight success, I guess. It was a kind of a crazy phenomenon. And then obviously Netflix was like, give me more, give me more. So now we're on the third one. And what's very cool about Knives Out is it's a mystery film, so it's always a murder mystery, and it feels like a murder mystery, very comical. Daniel Craig's character feels a little bit like a Southern, like a Texan, that Sherlock Holmes. So there's a little bit more comedy to what he does. There's a little bit more charisma to what he does than maybe Sherlock Holmes, who's not charismatic at all in any. So, oh my God, about that. My network just gave out. I'm back. And so in this third film, which is very cool, they are exploring something that's a little bit less in the world. So Ryan Johnson will generally use the mystery to comment on something that's happening in society. So the first film was about class, class division and class inheritance, whether or not anyone is a self-made millionaire in this world, because we all know that someone got a loan from somewhere type of thing or inherited something from someone. And the second film was about the performative aspect of wealth and basically incorporating that into a murder mystery. And this one is more exploring religion, and the internal battle that happens at the church, like whether we're supposed to be fighting the world or whether, we're supposed to be fighting each other in order to be better for God. There's a lot of that internal battle happening for our main character, Josh O'Connor, because he believes that, we should be fighting the world and not each other. We're supposed to embrace each other, and we're supposed to love each other regardless of where your heart is or anything like that. And unfortunately, the church that he's a part of doesn't feel the same. And the pastor of that church passes away mysteriously, and he is the prime suspect because he was outspoken about the fact that he does not like his boss's preachings. And then chaos ensues in an attempt to try and solve this mystery. And Daniel Craig's character, he knows that it's not Josh O'Connor, and you know that it's not Josh O'Connor, but the movie tries to trick you, the movie tries to deceive you, those kind of things. And the actual result is even more beautiful because it once again explores class, it explores religion and how that can warp your brain and the way that you embrace people around you. So I think that this movie is going to be fun for everybody, honestly.
Yeah. Looks kind of scary. Like I thought it was.
I've watched it.
Yeah.
Have you
Already? Yeah, I have.
Scary. No.
Okay,
No, it isn't.
Sharp,
I honestly think they shouldn't go
I
to
try to
4,
run away
though.
from horror as much as I can.
Yeah, this should definitely be their last.
This should be their last. I honestly think so, yeah. I loved it. I enjoyed it, but I think before they lose it, they just need to stop.
I was
There's always
pleasantly
one line,
surprised
right?
by this one because the second one wasn't good. Like the mystery was fine. I think they did well with the mystery side of everything. But I was pleasantly surprised that the third one, he was able to kind of bring it back into what the first one, what made people love the first one.
That's what makes me nervous, and that's why I think, yeah, let's not get a number 4.
I do believe they're gonna keep getting blank checks for them because it's Ryan Johnson is able to get Kerry Washington, he's able to get Glenn Close, he's able to get Josh Brolin, he's able to get Josh O'Connor. These are all gonna
Yeah.
Star-studded kind of movies.
Yeah, that's also what.
And sometimes you're gonna watch it because of the cast, right?
Yes.
There's musicians that I don't even need to listen to. I know there's gonna be fire until you get disappointed. But yeah, they've got the right casting.
Yeah, I don't know why she's frozen when we're trying to find out how much
The rating, when you get to the rating.
Yeah, the rating. Here she is.
I'm so sorry.
You're not escaping
Wi-Fi
without telling us what the rating is on this one.
Oh my goodness, I didn't give it a rating. Truly, this one was good. I have to give it 5 stars. Like, I think because I also went in so scared to hate it. Like, because I was so happy with the first one and so disappointed with the second one. And this one, it it has you from the beginning to the end. It doesn't stop to like explain anything to you like the last one did. I think Daniel Craig's character doesn't do a lot of explaining in this. He takes such a big step back in this one and gives face to the story, which is what made people fall in love with the first one still, was that the mystery was a tool for a bigger conversation, and in this one, that was what they brought back, was that the mystery was a tool for a much larger conversation and a much more important conversation.
I get
And
you.
they got it right, yeah.
Yeah, I think let's just check it out for anybody that wants to watch it. You guys have sold it to me. Probably also the FOMO factor, fear of missing out, because all of you have watched it and I'm the only one who hasn't. So I'm definitely going to like thingy. And I've also seen the trailer as well. If you haven't, here it is.
This murder was dressed as a miracle. But what happened that night is a much, much larger scheme. To understand this case, you need to look at the myth that's being constructed. A man gives a sermon. He then, in plain sight of everyone, walks into a sealed concrete box. And 30 seconds later, that man is lying dead. A classic, impossible crime.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
This is a holy mystery. Unsolvable.
Holy shit.
Sorry. What the hell happened?
We do not know.
What is truth? We don't know that. We don't. What exists? Does any of this exist? So,
What is even happening right now?
It is time to discover what this flock of wicked wolves is hiding.
Confess.
All right, stop. Here's what's gonna happen. Benoit frickin' Blanc and I are gonna ask you all some questions, and you're gonna answer them. We're gonna get to the bottom of who killed Monsignor Wicks and why, and then that's it.
Now, who wants to go first?
Okay, there's humor, so I'm certainly sold.
I will say, I think the humor in this one is better than the first two.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
is something
the first two and then-
drier about it, which is nice.
So I
agree
can
with
skip
you.
the first two and just stick to this one.
Truly, really. I mean, the first one
They're
is good.
unrelated. But,
The first one is good, but they're completely unrelated.
Oh, that's cool then.
It's
if
like
I-
Black Mirror, where each season is its own thing.
It is. Nah, certainly will do that. Thank you so much, AB. Thank you so much. Looking forward to another one. At least I have something to look forward to when I can't sleep at night. Like, let's do this. Yeah, we're heading over to Mr. Disappearing. Yeah.
Mr. Disappearing Act.
Time for us to check out what's happening, man, on the Bees pod with Billy Bukako. We go there like this, yeah.
my people, my people, I am back. I am back like umqolo. Welcome back to 2026. I think today we talked a lot about education, and in retrospect, I probably, should have prepared something, in line with that theme. But Slyso and I had dinner sometime in December. I think it was on the 30th of December, where we had what we call a Christmas encore. And we had friends over, and a conversation ensued. And I think I realized how much we know little about the things we need to know more about, right? And I think the first thing I want to touch on today is how we need to make a resolution, right, for this year that we are going to follow, especially policy formulation. There's a lot of things that affect how what the policy is, the government policies. It affects a lot of things that you would not necessarily align it to on a day-to-day basis, because policy provides a conducive environment for business to thrive, right? So all of us, whatever we do, is informed by policy. So, what is the best thing to do for you as an entrepreneur is to get involved in policy development, or at least understand how it works, right? And I want to take you through this. And lastly, I want us to talk about the current policy that is being gazetted by the Department of Small Business Development around the business licensing bill. So the value chain starts obviously with there being research around what this policy seeks to address, and it usually comes from chaos, right? Something that needs to be addressed. And the first stage would then be a green paper. The green paper is more exploratory, and it goes out and you are able to give your comments and inputs into that, because it's more research, it's more exploratory in terms of how this policy, what it seeks to address, and how we can address that. And the green paper then turns into a white paper, which is a much more concrete document, right? That speaks to exactly what that policy needs to do. But even then, when the papers draft and it outlines what the government is intended to do, it is still not final, because it has to go and be a bill. And there are always, public participation rounds in each of these rounds, right? You are able to still give comment. Even when it has now moved from being a bill, before it gets approved, it will be gazetted for public comment. So you still have an opportunity, even though, to still give your input. It is very important. It's part of what I call active citizenry. You can't say you want to grow your business when you do not know where your business is operating, what is the environment, and what is conducive and what is not going to work for you. And gone are the days where we entertain conversations that, hey, government is not doing this, government is not doing that. No, that is not the case. You need to be part to tell government of how you want to be supported, how you want things to be done, right? Currently, in under Gazette is the business licensing bill. Now, the business licensing bill addresses obviously trying to formalize the sector in terms of ensuring that there is uniformity in terms of how we do business, and but most importantly, there's been a great conversation around whose responsibility is it to look at foreign-owned shops, especially in the spaza space. I think is quite contentious in terms of the influx of foreign-owned shops, and this is part of what the bill wants to address. Right? It identifies sectors within the business sector that should be preserved and reserved and limited for foreign participation. It also looks at managing entry of foreigners into business, right? But most importantly, at the core, it wants to prioritize, locals in terms of business. So This is the Department of Small Business Development's response to the conversation around who is responsible. Because some say, because initially licenses would be, part of what the municipality and the bylaws and all of that. But this is now the department coming out to say, we want to be part of it. We want to look into how we balance the scales between local business owners and foreign owned businesses. And what is it that we need to protect when it comes to entry of foreign business owners into the fold? And it's currently out for gazetting. And I want you to please go to the site, try to find and make your comments. But going forward, what I wanted us to start as a New Year's resolution this year is to look at the departments that our businesses relate to. And at least once a month, go into that website, find out what is it that they are trying to do, find out what is the new policy, new bills, new strategies, right? All of these things that are trying to work in, because at the end of the day, they will come and affect you. And you need to give your words and your input into that. I hope we make better decisions going forward, and we move from being, what do they call them again? The finger activists, the couch activists on the couch, and we actually do something about it. And this is part of us, examining and questioning our culture as people. How do we empower ourselves, and how do we become responsible and part of determining our destiny? Back to you, Slyso. Thanks, Big Business.
That's his story, and he's certainly
sticking to it.
Sticking to it. Yeah, that's it, man. Very important. I know that Okonom formal from missing out from the Christmas encore. Yeah, I think there were talks of moving to GP at some point. Yes, all up to you.
We need an office here, Thotho. Come on, guys. Come on. We've just talked about our ADHD. I know it's probably not, but you can assist us some way. You're missing out on some bugs here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I need to take my business side of things as far as the private.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk.
Very interesting is us living in the gig economy. That's what they call it. So people have multiple streams of income that emanate from the person being multi-skilled. Traveling nowadays, like consultations, with some people are virtual. Even at work, the stuff that we are busy exploring as far as making that a reality. I'm one of those people who was like, please use me, I'm a guinea pig. So you can be based anyway. Like if we choose and we say, like, listen, the Slyso TV podcast is going to be based in Dubai, that's where we're going to be. We will still be able to
receive.
Back at home. How do we receive? We should just be out of the box, do something bonkers. You'll never know. But obviously structured, following policy as Mr. Big Biz is, suggesting that we do.
I like, Bills, what I like about your segment is also just the empowerment and calling us into action, because we like to be passive citizens sometimes, even in our businesses. People don't actually make the effort to go and check what's happening in the department that you are aligned to, the work that you do in your own business. Check what's happening, what are the opportunities, but most importantly, what is legislation saying? So I think sometimes we do slack a bit in terms of empowering ourselves. That information is there, so the so-called government, does put out information and call people to comment. People don't actually comment.
But don't. And then we come back and we complain.
And then they complain, So again, I think in that spirit of holding ourselves accountable, I definitely want to do that myself, to also just be more intentional about actually reading up on legislation and making sure that one doesn't miss out opportunities. Sometimes opportunities of put your voice out there. What do you think as a person who is trading in this space? As a person who actually knows what maybe small businesses require in that particular field. So
Exactly.
sometimes it's about you must know where to make the noise. You must know where to make the noise that is going to actually bring about change.
Exactly.
So I definitely think we can definitely do better this year.
Yeah, and I mean, with entrepreneurs, opportunities are everywhere. If there's a new bill coming to law, right, there's implementation, right? It's an opportunity. How do we close the gaps? What can I do as an entrepreneur to make sure that what does this bill say, actually? There's
How does it
automation,
affect my business?
yeah, how does it affect me? But most importantly, how can I assist? You know? How can I be part of ensuring that there's a new thing, there's a new change? What does that look like, and how can I monetize that? Yeah.
And giving that feedback back to whoever would be
Sure.
your not a sponsor but like an investor in your business. And half the time, and I think it speaks to what we spoke about, bills, which was where it all started. The fact that like you saying you want something and the person is going to ask you, have you tried to do this? Have you gone onto the website and find out what the criteria is, what the policy says, what are the guidelines, and all of it, and all of these things. Sometimes we just sit and we complain without lifting a finger, and I think we just need to, immerse ourselves like in information, guys. It's in our hands, literally and figuratively in our hands. I think I think that is it for this episode. Wow, close to clocking 2 hours. Yeah. Like ending off on a dope note. Now, Thotho, we know who and what Mattel is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the company that manufactures came up with Olandika or Barbie. I'm a Barbie doll. Did you play it? Did you? Thotho?
Oh no, the were white, sadly.
And blonde hair.
With blonde hair, skinny. I think it's a miracle that I did not end up,
with body dysmorphia.
And body dysmorphia because
Imagine that.
You couldn't see yourself from your toys.
Seriously, because the representation of our bodies and our hair, was nowhere to be found until decades later.
We actually need to talk about that, some sort of conditioning. But anyway, let's wrap up, Slyso.
Yeah. So they say that Mattel introduces its first ever autistic Barbie doll, reflecting real experiences. So they've come up with this doll created with direct guidance from the autistic community. Which means you do your research before you start doing anything, to reflect how autistic people may experience, process, and communicate with the world. They say now for many families and autistic adults alike, this launch marks a meaningful step forward in representation through play. Now your kids are not going to discriminate against, they're going to grow up not discriminating against umdan and autism because they learned from play, So the doll was developed over more than 18 months in partnership with Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, ASAN in short, a non-profit disability rights organization run by and for autistic people. It joins the Barbie Fashionista range, a collection known for celebrating diversity across skin tones, hair textures, talking to you, Thotho, body types, and disabilities as well. So it's one of those. Thank you, iol.co.za, for that beautiful story that we end this one off with. So you can think, how can I make counseling interesting, the use of
I mean, it's going to be
Mhm.
very interesting for someone who
Mhm.
does play therapy. I mean, I don't work with children, but I know that a lot of child psychologists or psychologists that are interested in working with children always looking for ways, especially when you're dealing with a child with special needs. So this might just be something interesting that can even be recommended to a parent who's struggling. I don't know, which toys to buy, and maybe this is a doll that you get your autistic child, so that they can see themselves in this doll,
in this
and
door. Yeah.
you understand. Very, very important,
Yeah.
and of course, educating the others around them.
Maybe this is for another day or offline, Toto, because we're out of time. But
Mm.
when I saw this, for me, I'm like, with certain disabilities, you can see, right?
Yes.
With autism, it is difficult
Yeah.
unless you see
Ooh.
behavior, right?
Mm.
And for me, what is interesting about this doll is, and I still need to, research this. What is it about this
Yes.
doll that
Yes.
says
Yeah.
autism?
Yeah.
Especially
That's also my
because
curiosity,
it
because
is not
we
something
need to
that you can
know.
see. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
disfigurement or something of sorts. It's more in the behavior. I
The
would
behavior.
assume. But anyway, it's quite
So there
interesting,
must be
and
some technology really that's
that
really done here to
yeah,
capture the
Yeah.
nuances of
I don't
of
think
the
it's just a matter of putting out a doll and that's slightly, like as you say, Bill's like disfigured, and then like it's like, oh, okay, cool, I got all right, like type of thing on
or
autism.
inappropriately represents even the autistic
Yeah,
yes,
child.
exactly.
yes,
Because
yeah,
yeah, so true, Toto. Because if that's the only thing, then it's misrepresentation, and it kills the entire concept of what they're trying to achieve. So it's a very interesting one. So you who's watching, go out there and do more research about it. It might
yeah.
help you or help a neighbor or a relative or something like that.
Definitely
But
gonna get
yeah,
some of my
that's
friends to check this thing out and see if it's legit, you know.
ah,
Because there's always the money side of these things, like, so there's the
Monetization, yes,
true,
monetization,
true.
and I mean, right now we're struggling with the hype around the neurodiversity, every child being diagnosed with ADHD or autism at an age where I mean, for example, there's a child, of a particular age is going to be hyper energetic, and that's normal. So you would
Hmm.
not want to
because they probably had a
always
fizz pop. Yeah,
yeah,
Right?
so yeah, we also always have to be skeptical and be critical about these new developments, and
yeah,
check the genuinity of them.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Guys, I think as for all of us, this is our story.
We're
And we're
And
sticking
we are
sticking
to
to it.
it.
Welcome
Guys, thank
back,
you so
girls. We
much.
missed
So
you.
good
We
to have
missed your
everybody
session.
back,
It is
man.
so good to be back, guys. I feel so good.
Sisazakubhalela
Feels so
ecaleni
good.
uba umdliwo wakho for unqaba unyaka wonke yintoni na.
Yes, and our Facebook friends must tell us who Billy
Yeah,
Sidle ntoni?
please, guys. Makadliwe
please
ntoni?
tell us, because the brother left us for a very long time, hey,
It's
and
been a while, guys. I'm
Hanging.
back though. I'm back.
Left us
welcome back.
hanging.
I'm back.
Yeah,
I'll be.
guys, thank you
No,
so
I'm a
much.
banger.
Yeah.
I bring the fire.
You
This
bring
year.
the fear, man.
Always.
Yeah, man.
Guys, thank you so
Cheers,
much. Have a great
guys.
evening, and obviously a great week ahead. We're taking this one. We're killing this one this year as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
As always. Bye, guys. Bye, people.